Evolutional leaps are created by momentous change, in many cases triggered by an unforeseen and harsh crisis. Right now, we are experiencing one of those moments. This change is relentless. Without mercy, it exposes insufficient customer experiences, missing digital ecosystems, and business models with inadequate digital extensions. People of all ages are learning how to deal with digital in no time, gaining experiences they will not forget, forever changing expectations on how to do business. No business will succeed without the proper digital completion of their core business. Those who act now will be the winners of tomorrow. Every journey begins with a single step. It's up to you to start the chain of events that catapults you to a whole new level. Let's seize the moment and turn this challenge into digital momentum. Because there is only now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Masterclass series. Many thanks for your time today, which we want to use to give you some insights how to successfully build up a digital B2B platform. My name is Markus Linder. I'm the Vice President Sales of Netconomy, and our claim is to shape the future of digital leadership for our customers. Today with me is my colleague Anja. Anja, could you also please briefly introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Anja Hiebler. I'm Customer Director at Netconomy and among a lot of B2B customers also responsible for some B2C customers. My task at Netconomy is to derive strategic digitalization strategies with our customer and to realize projects for all sectors and sizes.
Excellent, thank you, Anja. So today we classified our presentation into 5 parts. First, I want to give you a quick overview about the company Netconomy. Secondly, what is important to look at before starting such an initiative. The third part will show you the aspects and key dimensions of a digital B2B platform. Fourth, how successful an implementation has to look like. And finally, Anja will show you some selected use cases. So you all know, bringing technology is shifting B2B forward. Customers are demanding the same approach as in B2C, and the answer to this challenge lies in building a comprehensive digital platform. Automatically, this also brings a lot of potential and added value for you, like optimization in processes, landscape harmonization, and in the end, an increase in efficiency. Let's have a look at Netconomy. We from Netconomy are not just a very strategic partner of SAP, but we also won 3 times the most innovative SAP Commerce Partner Award. We build industry-specific omnichannel solutions upon SAP customer experience. And the mission we accomplish here is to shape the future of digital leadership for our clients. Our clear focus is to create future-proof platforms based on the SAP Customer Experience Suite, as well as SAP Cloud Services. And for this, we have a big team of more than 430 SAP Customer Experience experts with a proven track record. And we are not doing this since yesterday. We have an experience of more than 20 years and are currently running locations in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and in Serbia. So before you start such an initiative, I want to emphasize here some important things which is really relevant to look at. A B2B platform is not a web shop. There are not less companies out in the field who still has this opinion, but a B2B platform goes far beyond that. So what does it mean? At the end of the day, building up such a platform, it's not a short project, it's a long journey. It's a long journey which needs agility, continuous improvement, optimizations, and so on and so on. And before starting this journey and during this journey, there are 4 things to look at. First of all, you have to understand the business model. You have to look at it and how to digitally transform it. The second big influence factor is the organization of the company, whether it is more centralized organized with standard processes or decentralized with very heterogeneous landscape, which it even makes it more complex. Obviously, it also takes the commitment from the management, including all the necessary resources and allocate them right. And finally, it is also a big chance for you to add innovation here, which is a big strength of Netconomy and increases your competitiveness as well. So what are the aspects and the key dimensions of a B2B initiative? There are for sure some more, but these are the most important one I want to mention here. First of all, there is the service portal, where you can add information which adds value to your customers, from a simple ticketing system until really special know-how, which you can indicate here as well. Another big opportunity are the spare parts. So give admittance to the actual stock, create transparency, what the customer has already bought, and you can enrich this all by a filter to differentiate parts, which for example looks quite similar. The next potential are subscriptions. So a B2B direct sales as a business model with a selected assortment and individual pricing. Another aspect is direct sales, so B2B2C, especially for companies with multi-brand strategies to use all these synergies just on one platform. And finally, product data and their integration are also key aspects, because it is totally useless to do everything right in the front end, but if you're not able to describe your products and services, because they are hidden in the backend systems. And as a result, on the left-hand side, you get a radar diagram where you can set your priorities right. So how to successfully implement such a platform? So first of all, to achieve all of this, you have to establish a good basis. Instead of building everything by your own, you can stay close to the standard and use the customer experience platform from SAP. If you look at the upper right corner first, we recommend to use a cloud solution, as you don't have to host and admin the platform by yourself and could focus more on your business and on your customers. Very important is also to use a decoupled front end, which is totally detached from the business logic and important for your further evolution. Through the API, you can also use all the functionalities of the platform economy. In B2B, also the management of customer data is very important, including the onboarding of your customers, but also fulfilling all GDPR guidelines and so on is really crucial. With the extensibility, you have the possibility through so-named microservices to add specifica to your business model as well. And as already mentioned, to achieve an end-to-end process, you also need a universal integration here. So let's have a look at the approach. You can see here a four-phased approach. And because of the complexity to build such a digital B2B platform, it needs an agile methodology to be successful. Started from a top-down discovery, ending up in a phase model to create the minimal viable product along user stories, building this MVP, and prepare and perform the initial go live with an ongoing enhancement and optimization in the production environment. So what are the key takeaways this afternoon? A strategic B2B commerce requires the right technology foundation. It is not just a web shop. It's definitely a strategic investment into technology, into people, and into partnerships. It required both management commitment and the right resources. Because of the complexity, this only can be handled best with an agile approach, what we just have seen. And defining the right direction is more important than clarifying all details up front. And finally, the ability to think and build processes end to end is a significant advantage. With that, I want to hand over to my colleague Anja, one of our customer directors. She will present you now a selection of our customer use cases who exactly started with this journey some time ago, including the challenges they was facing, the goals to achieve, and what they already have successfully implemented. Many thanks for your attention so far. Anja, please go ahead.
Thanks, Marcus, for your introduction. So we will have a view today on two very different use cases we established within the past 12 months within economy with some of our clients. As Marcus already said, B2B projects follow mostly the same requirements, but every use case and every journey with a customer makes a specific project. And this is where the use cases become interesting. So let's have a view on the first use case. The first use case is from a global gasket and sealing producer who is based in Austria and is one of the world market leaders in this specific section. When we met the customer was at the very beginning of their digital journey. But what they already did, they had a very clear view on what they wanted to achieve, what steps to take, and what should be the first footprint. That's where Commerce Cloud came into place. So what they wanted to achieve, and that was also settled in their goals, is bringing the first digital footprint to life very fast. So we started to define together with them the most important goals the platform should be capable of showing to the customer. So one of the first parts was customization. They wanted to distribute a platform to their customers, which is not just an online shop where you can reorder your products, but acts also a tool inside the customer's organization to help the sales processes, make purchasing more efficient, and to also build a holistic information and documentation platform for all the documents that are needed along the product itself. Second, it was very important from the very beginning to have a multi-tenancy setup. The customer's organization is divided into legal autonomous subsidiaries in different countries across the whole globe. And all those subsidiaries, of course, have always specific needs. So the challenge was to, on the one hand, search for the maximum standardization, but to give some possibility of local adaptation where needed. Third, this customer also thought about process efficiency. So we always recommend when we come into a B2B project to our customers to rethink the processes they have. So not building a digital platform around old established processes that might have evolved over years of time, but to use the digital platform and an establishment of a new step in the journey as an opportunity to rethink some of the processes and make them more efficient. So that's also why we brought some sales opportunities and features onto the platform that makes the sales process and the reordering process a little bit more efficient. And fourth, the customer wanted to force a templated rollout. So for the first MVP footprint, we went live with one country below than 12 months. And beyond that, they wanted to include more countries and subsidiaries on their own with very low involvement of the implementation partner. So the goal was to find a template that might be executed by the customer himself with very low development knowledge, where we as a partner are just needed for troubleshooting and for a little bit of input on the side. So what were the challenges that we faced? Well, first of all, with that heterogeneous and very separated subsidiary setup the customer had, of course, we also needed to take that into account when it comes to the maintenance of products. So the customer was looking for a permission concept when product is maintained in the central PCM, where you had the opportunity to give out regulations from the headquarters, but the customers on the subsidiary side itself were able to give some specialized, legally needed or local adapted content. Second, we faced a very heterogeneous ERP landscape. So for every subsidiary, there was one ERP that needed to be integrated. Side note, non-SAP related ERPs. And for that, we needed to think of a very standardized API layer to be integrated on the platform. And third, connected to the permission challenge that we already addressed, also, of course, the catalogs for different product content, editorial content, and standard product data needed to be separated, not only into the different legal setups from the subsidiaries, but also on the points of interest that might come from the customer out of the local markets. So the project itself had a runtime of about 12 months until we released the first MVP footprint and the first 5 countries. What were the highlights of that project? As already said, we drove a very high degree of customer orientation when releasing the platform. So beside an IP-based redirection to the correct base store, we also implemented a feature that allowed the customer to integrate their own SKUs and product namings so that they are able to search for the already known data, naming, and notes they might have given in the past to a specific product on the platform itself. In addition, we distributed a country-specific legal and technical documentation section on the shop. Combined with stock levels for the optimum product availability on a customer basis, we made sure that the right angle of customer orientation and specific needs addressed were reached. Second, and that was among one of the key features of the project, was the multidimensional product data model. As already said, we had the challenge of the need to have global directives when it comes to product data and maintenance of it, but also the need of the subsidiaries to distribute content that is either legally forced or is needed due to local adaptations. The customer said, well, my subsidiaries and the sales managers there in the market know their customer best, so why not giving them the opportunity also to distribute some content? But at the end, of course, we also need to review that in the headquarters to make sure that we have a centralized approach towards the market. So what we did here was that we have country and brands as well as subsidiary specific catalogs, but with global adaptations from the headquarters or the directives that could be given, even down on a field level. According to that, and as a help for the headquarters, we also implemented a multi-step approval process to give out the data finally to the productive system and hence further on to the customer. And attached to that, we also implemented a global permission concept where every employee in the subsidiary had their specific permissions, what to do and what to maintain and what rights they have in the shop. Third was, we faced a very complex architecture when we started the project. So there were already a lot of ERP systems. They were not replaced, so they wanted to keep that structure. So we made sure to implement all those ERP systems within an API layer to be flexible in the future, but to also reduce the amount of complexity we had in that project. And most important, as the customer itself is acting on a global level, we went for a cloud-first strategy from the very beginning to ensure performance and availability across the globe. And last but not least, as addressed before, we also added some enhanced B2B functionalities that made the sales and reordering processes a lot more efficient. So for the internal team of the customer, the inside sales team and also the field sales team, we added a multi-step approval process for quotes that come from customer sides. And in addition, they also in the beginning mentioned combined stock levels for the optimum product availability were broken down to customer specific regulations and availabilities. So in the end, the customer itself is able to say, I have limited stock, so to which of my customers do I want to give the first spot of that limited stock? So that was the first use case. Let's hop on to the second. you will see that this use case differs a lot from the first. This customer is also based in Austria and is one of the world market leaders for welding and the production of steel. So this customer started out with the products commerce and marketing cloud. That customer already took alone some steps in digitalization. They already had some digital products. They distributed through their welding machines and some components of the C4 and S4 stack already in place. So they used already C4C for CRM topics and sales topics, and there was a general worldwide SAP ERP and background in place. So what was the use case there? When we met the customer, the goal was quite sure also to give a certain degree of customization to their customers around the globe. Not in the same extent like we had it in the first use case, but for sure it was also important to store customer-specific SKUs, to make the search experience a little bit better in the shop, and to allow them a certain degree of self-service. Second, we already found a more or less settled architecture when we came in. So there were already components of S4 and C4 and some central microservices they already built in for the software products that needed to be integrated in the shop as well. Third, and that is what makes the use case very interesting, is that the customer was very sure from the very beginning that they just do not want to have a pure online shop where they distribute their welding machines, attached accessories and welding material, but also to extend a little bit the view and say, let's have not an online shop, but a marketplace where we can market every product in the future that we want to have. So as already said, they also have some software products that come along with welding machines and which are sold on a subscription basis. So we're not only integrated into the platform physical products, but also as a goal, we needed to implement digital products which run on a subscription model. And fourth, of course, also here, the customer is running on a global level. So we had to take into account a lot of specific country languages, of course, currency and tax setups among the different countries, but still regarding the setup and the processes behind leveraging the maximum standard to not have any inefficiencies there and to still keep the costs very low. So what were the challenges in that specific project? So bridging, of course, already the existing data silos that we had with the already existing components, and to leverage also the potential of interconnecting all the SAP products. Second, to reduce the time-consuming reorder processes in the inside sales team. And third, to provide a platform which is able of coping for all sales strategies and product assortments that might come along in the future. That use case in specific took about 7 to 8 months until we released the first MVP country. And after 3 to 4 months by now, 5 more countries are live on the platform. So as already said, also customization was one of the pillars and the highlights in that specific project. We integrated customer-specific material numbers, product names and notes, and also displayed customer-specific price lines and conditions. That was a little bit more complex than in the previous use case we had, because this customer is also selling high customized products. So products itself might be unique and also the price attached to it for one specific customer, which gives a lot of complexity when setting up the product data model and the connected price lines. Second was a self-service. So we detected in the very beginning of the project that the inside sales team is spending a lot of time in doing stuff they could easily digitalize. So some questions that came from the customers, some documents and information they need. So what we did was implementing a documentation section in the My Account area of every customer with all the configured products, all the configurations and settings that were needed for the welding process attached to the machines they bought itself, and also reports they could store there. So to have not only sort of a shop for selling goods, but also a digital information hub. And second, we also implemented a mapping of the contact form to the recipients among the global setup of the customer. So this helped just to find the right people very short without having the necessity to integrate a service tool, for example, in addition. Third was the product and configuration display. So as already said, we implemented a section where the customer was able to provide some documents. And in this documents concluded basically technical data sheets that were attached to the PDP or in the My Account section, and also the configuration docs for customized products. With increasing the custom experience, of course, we also made that content searchable via the basic shop search. And last but not least, we also added enhanced B2B unit and sales capabilities there. One point that needs to be addressed in addition is that that customer also followed a templated approach for the further country and rollout setups like we had in the first use cases, that brought the customer into the position that they are able to execute now a further country rollout with predefined impacts and templates from our side in below than 1 month, with less than 10 to 15 implementation days needed from our end. So thank you. We are now by the end of the second use case. I hope there was an interesting details for you and something you could take away.
Thank you very much, Anja, for the very interesting use cases you just presented, and thanks to the audience for your attention this afternoon. We are happy to answer your questions in the Q&A session, and we are also around in the brand room, and of course also afterwards you find the contact details here, and we are happy to support you to start and accomplish a digital B2B platform for you as well in the future. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.